Hello.
Hi guys.
Jurgen, first of all, this will be your 12th Merseyside Derby since you took charge of Liverpool. 7 wins and 4 draws already, and Everton not challenging Liverpool for a league position in that time either. In some ways then, do you feel you're still to experience the full extent of this local rivalry?
I don't know exactly what you mean. You mean how it feels when you lose a derby or whatever. I've lost enough derbies in my life to know how it feels. So don't need that experience, to be honest. But all the games were really, really difficult, especially before the game, because you make such a fuss of it all the time. And in the end, we have to play the games. You build it up like crazy. And it's like, well, around this game, nothing will happen. And we have still to play the game in the home games that work better, obviously, than it did in the away games. But we were always in the game, and that's what I'm most concerned about. That we really we always respect. Of course, we always respected Everton, and that's what we do this time. And for some really good reason, because they're just a good football team, and this year they look especially good. So we should be spot on, and we will.
What has the international break been like for you? I suppose particularly with concerns over the welfare of your players, with so many of them having to travel.
Actually, I don't like to answer this question because it always sounds like I moan about something I cannot change anyway. So if you want to be a serious journalist, write a piece about it. So how it is when you play at Wednesday in Peru and on Saturday in Liverpool. What do you think about that? If it should be like this, and what the FIFA is doing around this, how they help us with bringing the players back and all these kind of things. So it was like it always was. They came all back healthy, but it's good. How fit? We had 1.5 days time to improve that, to make them match ready. That's how it is. So nothing else to say.
I just want to ask you in general terms about Project Bigger Picture as well, because obviously fans groups have spoken of the fans groups of the Big Six and said football's a family. It requires a fair share of resources to ensure the Premier League is competitive and that lower leagues flourish as well. They also went on to say that they're totally opposed to departing from one club, one vote collective ethos of the Premier League. And Gary Neville says that football has proven incapable of governing itself and has called for independent regulation. What's your opinion on those views compared with the proposals that were set out in Project Bigger Picture?
First and foremost, I think it was really important. It is really important that we speak about it, because I can remember when we last time spoke about something like this, about the space for improvement within football, professional football, how a lot of times in life there must be a crisis, not necessarily a virus, but a crisis to start talking. And this time I'm really happy that now people talk about it, because they are. Yes, it's very competitive, and that's positive. Nobody wanted to change that. I'm not really in it, to be honest. It's not that I was involved or whatever. I was informed from a specific moment on. But I can say all the peoples I know who were involved are concerned about football. And yes, about Liverpool as well, but if it's normal, but about football in general, that was their intention. So, and now other people can make of it whatever they want. If you want to understand it, if you want to understand the idea behind it, I think it's possible. If you don't want, then you just knock it down. So that's not a problem. It's not we will play on football, obviously, before that, after that, all the things. But there are things we can improve. And I really think that you always have to improve them now before you see the real problems in the future. And that's what these people tried to do. And obviously we have the real problems in the future. That's what the people try to do. And I think when the process keeps on going, that people are talking about it, discussing it, then it's very, very positive.
Okay, Vicky from PLP. Vicky.
Hi, Jurgen. Good to see you.
Hi.
Obviously, brilliant start for Everton this season, and I understand in your belief under Carlo Ancelotti, Everton can sincerely become the next proper challenger in the Premier League. That's quite an accolade.
Yeah, I think that you don't need to be a manager to see that. It's pretty clear that they did some good business, and Carlo is a sensational manager, and so it was always clear when he has the time to build something, then he will do that. And if the resources to build something, then he will do that. That's what he did. So this team looks really, really good. I would like to say something different, but it's not possible. That's of course a proper challenge. Look, so many teams did really good business in this transfer window, which made really sense, and they all will improve. Whenever I heard what West Ham is doing, for example, if they do something today or not, I don't know, but they improve. And so all teams improve in that league, and that's what everybody has to know about. We know about that, and so that's why we have to be ready for each of these games. And tomorrow, so in not even 24 hours, we can show that.
And we all know, of course, that it's been 10 years since Everton won the last Merseyside Derby. How much does a record like that, when it goes on for so long, play into the mentality of both sets of players, or does it not?
Not at all. So it's obviously FSG thing, since they are in. That's the case. So it's 10 years for them, 10 years for that. So of course, from my point of view, long may it continue, but we never thought really about it before we played them, before we played Everton, not once. That we think, they don't win anyway, these kind of things. We never had in our mind. We know it's hardest work tomorrow for us, and we will be ready for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky.
Pleasure.
Juliet.
Hello there, Jurgen.
Juliet, you know that your sofa is the same color than your jumper. Exactly.
No, it's not. That's red, and that's burgundy.
It looks from here exactly the same color.
Television.
Okay.
It's funny.
This one might not make you smile. It's been a bit of a wild ride in the Premier League for all teams in the first 4 games. I was just wondering, because of the crazy score lines that have been coming through, fans don't seem to be going to be allowed to go back in the stadiums anytime soon. Whether that forces the mind to wonder the concentration of the players, because the crowd isn't on you at the time, and maybe that could be one of the reasons why we're seeing so many crazy scorelines so far.
It looks like, to be honest, that's the reason for it, because nothing else changed, only the scorelines changed. The scorelines changed, and no people in the stadium. So I think it makes sense that we see it like this. But I don't know 100%, but I see the scorelines, and that's why. Of course, the audience or the crowd, or I will call it, they sharpen your focus. That's completely normal. It's completely clear, and you have to do that by yourself constantly. But it's anyway no excuse for no team. So because one team scored 7 and the other team scored only 2, so only one team suffered of no crowd in the stadium, if you want. So there's still opportunity to use the situation instead of suffering from it. So we don't really think about it, but we know that it's our own job, that we have to bring ourselves in a mood that the crowd will not help and cannot help. And it's possible.
Thank you, Jules. We'll go to Ian Kennedy, BBC Merseyside, for a question or 2.
Hi, Jurgen. Just in terms of the leading scorers for both teams, Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton, for you it's Mo Salah, and I'm just wondering, Salah seems to be really, really sharp from the start of the season. The kind of goals that he's scoring are really impressive as well. I mean, it's his best start to a season statistically. How pleased and impressed have you been with the way he's started this new campaign?
Very with the overall performance. So we have to cut out. Okay, he scored twice against Aston Villa, but they are now nice in the what is it, in the list. But of course, he would like to score in other games when we win, or help the team to win. I know that. But yes, his overall performance was really good so far. It was looks like a complete performance. So involved in the game. Being a proper option for us for passing, and still staying the incredible sharp finisher. So good season so far, for sure.
Yeah. How much of that is, and I know we've spoken about Salah a lot over the last couple of years, but how much of that is natural ability? How much of it is practice? Because you see some of the goals he scored this season where the balls come to him really quickly across the box. He's hit it first time, and the quality of the strike has just been incredible. Is that something that you see him practicing a lot, or is it just natural instinct and ability?
all these players out there are a mix of all these things. There's a lot natural ability, of course, but that alone doesn't bring you to the Premier League and doesn't let you win trophies in football. So no chance about that. If without practicing, you have no chance. So you have to do things again and again and again. We do these things for the boys. They don't have too much time after training that they do another 20 minutes, whatever they want to do, because of the tight schedule. That's not, from a physical point of view, not too smart and not really possible. But yes, of course, it's all about practicing. But it's, how I said, it's the skill set of Mo is already outstanding, but without his attitude during all his career, he would not be close to the player he is now. So it's a mix.
Okay, we go to Carl Markham.
Hi, Jurgen. Aside from
always, I don't see you.
This is top row, 4.
Here we go.
Yeah, okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Very well groomed.
Hi. Aside from the complications of the international break, which you don't want to talk about, I'm just wondering, when you're getting players back on a Thursday and you've got the added complications of something like COVID testing, how much does that impact your thinking on team selection for a game that kicks off at 12:30?
So first and foremost, I would say we are both teams are in the same situation. Everton had players away and we had players away, so that's kind of fair if you want. But I think it's when we decided for these games at 12:30 on Saturday, there was never a triple header involved that the boys had to play 3 games in the same time, where they usually play 2 games. It's already difficult enough to sort that. So yeah, you can do it once, but if then they do it next, or we have to do it once, but there should be no even a close chance that the same teams have to do it twice, just to say that. So now the challenge is always in the moment we make all the decisions with the knowledge we have in the second we make the decision, and then sometimes we have to overthink it again because something comes in between. But the boys got most of the FAs worked obviously very, very serious on that, had testing programs, really important and all that stuff. So we brought most of the players back as much as we could in private planes, that they don't get in contact with anybody else and these kind of things. So we try to do everything, yes. And then they have to do, when you come back from the international teams, you don't have to do a testing before they play Premier League. That's normal. The Premier League obviously trusts the specific FAs, and so that's not necessarily what you have to do, but we do it for us anyway. So on a private basis, yeah, then we wait for the results. We would expect they're all negative because the positive cases we had so far, they were all pretty much all of them to explain with kind of travels and stuff like this. So now they travel again, but in a closed environment with the national teams, and they have the same reason like we have to keep them as safe as possible. So that's different to usual traveling, I would say.
Just following on from that, what are you like team news wise for this weekend, and how has Alisson been progressing in the 2 weeks he's had?
Very, very positive with Ali. Looks really good. Yeah, make big steps. I don't have a time frame, but it looks really good. That's it, pretty much. Naby will not be ready. Apart from that, anybody else? Was anybody injured before?
No, because we've seen Joe.
Yeah, long term, of course, Oxlade not, and so on. But from the others, no, they came all back healthy from the national team.
Okay, I've got a few hands up, guys, but obviously it's busy press conference and we've got a breakout, so I'm not going to be able to take any more than one question. And so Lars from Norway, just one question, please, Lars, and then we'll go to Tom and Kieran to finish. Lars, you're on mute, Lars. You're still on mute. No. Lars, we're going to come back to you. Tom,
can you hear me?
There we are.
There we are. Nice one. Perfect. Right. So, Jurgen, over the international break, have you had the time to reflect on the season so far? And what are you not so pleased with? What are you pleased with? And as well, if you look at the current situation that Liverpool is in terms of COVID-19 with Tier 3, is this derby even more important for the city of Liverpool in terms of the social restrictions in the city at the moment, that you actually have two really strong Premier League teams going at each other?
Could you please mute yourself again? A joke. So I actually, the question was that long that I forgot what we are talking about. So I lost it a little bit. What was it with 3 and COVID?
I'll come to that in a second. It's assess the season so far.
Okay. Well, the derby has a big is a big one in Liverpool, obviously. For this city is, I like to think not exactly 50-50, but a lot of people support obviously Everton, and all the rest supports Liverpool. I don't think you find one person in Liverpool who is not really interested in football, or even if you are not interested, you know somebody who is that much interested that you cannot really ignore that. So yes, it's a big one. We know that. If that's now bigger because of the COVID situation in the city, I don't know. When you are in the city, yes, I don't say it's normal. It's like it's not normal. Like it's pretty much everywhere not normal. And we know about restrictions. We don't feel them here, but we know about them. And I think this game is as important as ever, but not more because of COVID. I don't see that that it depends on that. But yeah, that's it. The question was much longer, so maybe I forgot parts. That's all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go to Kieran Canning, and then we're going to finish with Tom Hamilton. But just one question, please, Kieran.
Hi, Jurgen. I presume from what you've said before that Sadio and Thiago will be available for tomorrow. And given that when players have had the virus and coming back, obviously one of the associated symptoms is fatigue. So how careful do you have to be to bed them in when they haven't been training and not just throw them in to play 90 minutes?
Yeah, of course. We all learn on a daily basis about it. So they are all ready for since I'm pretty sure 5-6 days in training, I would say. So, and then of course we assess that every day. So we have our specific measurements, how we do it with heart rate and all, and how we can measure if they are more fatigued than usually, stuff like this. So it both look really good, to be honest. So we are very close with the doctors. We don't want to, we would never risk anybody and stuff like this. But usually in these cases, it's like this, that at least the last 3, 4, 5 days of the quarantine, the boys are already ready. They cannot get out of quarantine, but they are on treadmill, stuff like that, on the bike and these kind of things. So when they start training again, it's not that they start from nil. So they have quite a proper, still a proper shape. So that should be fine. But it's for us how we are. So many things are new in the moment. This is one of the things. What can I say? That's one of the things which are really new. But we try to be as sensible as possible.
Final question from Tom Hamilton. Tom.
Hi, I'm just wondering, without the crowds in the stadium, has it changed the way in which you communicate with your players during the game at all?
I would like to see so, but obviously in Villa it didn't work. So whatever I said there obviously went in the wrong direction. So there are situations when I want to make a point clear, and the boys, they don't look at me because they think they know anyway. But I want to say that's really interesting. I had this discussion already with 1 or 2 after the game. Then, so yes, but of course we can communicate more and usually better. But football is not this kind of sport where you should pretty much judge or commentate each situation on the pitch, because the players have to, all the work we do, we try to do on the training pitch. Yes, I can give help in specific situation, but it's not like I'm like a radio commentator and say whatever they have to do in the next situation. I never understood that really. But yes, but it's easier like when the stadium is full, 100%. That's one of the very, 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 very little advantages.
Okay, guys, right.